Hey, Power Diary friends, it's Danielle and my very special guest and co-host of our new show, Damien and Danielle Download, Mr. Damien Adler. Damien, say hello
Hey,
today.
hey Danielle, how are you?
Good. So,
Yeah.
everyone, we are so excited about this new show that we're going to be giving to you guys on a monthly basis. And we are filming from across the world because Damien is here somewhere.
Yeah,
And
down
I
there.
am up here somewhere. And you guys are, well,
Everywhere.
all around here. And we are
Yeah.
super excited and really pumped to bring you guys the show, talk to you guys about Power Diary and all the great things that we've been up to, what's coming up, some insider information, maybe, I don't know, some departmental stuff, some really good things. And we're going to do our best because, as you can tell, I am a talker. And Damien up there, he might be a talker too. So we're going to do our best to keep this segment, 30 minutes for our first one, and then we'll try to shorten them up after that. But we can't guarantee.
I think you're brave putting the 30 minutes out there. Now we're really we're really committed to that, right? We're going to try and do it.
We're
I
committed.
think it's ambitious, but let's see how we go. See if we can do it.
All right. So we also, and just so you guys know, have some notes because we don't want to miss anything. So if you see my eyes going over here, Damien's looking down at his paper.
I've got my notes here printed out of all the great things I've been doing because I'll otherwise, you know what happens, Danielle? I get kind of focused and excited about one thing, and then I could have a whole bunch of other things drop out of my head at the same time. So I've
that
got
never happens, does it?
yeah,
I know you.
I'm
It's
afraid so. So I've got that. It's to help keep me on track. So there you go.
okay. So he's gonna stay on track. I'm gonna stay on track. And you guys are going to love what we are bringing you today. So let's jump right in. Did I miss anything in our welcome? I don't think so. We got this.
I don't think so. I think your new office is looking great. Like you've been renovating, right? And you've got this new office.
I do.
Purpose done. It's looking great. I love the world map.
And I got my elephant here. I'm an elephant. So there's a little fun for you guys. If you're ever watching one of my weekly videos, look for the elephants. I've got one here. My son gave me one that's hanging on my wall and some of my other photos. So videos. So you'll see them. I'm going to start putting those elephants around.
So where's Wally of elephants, huh?
I just, I always wanted a baby elephant, Damien. And I came to the realization that I'm never going to have one. So I'm going to bring little elephants in the background.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's jump in. Let's get started.
Yeah.
Let's really dive into this Power Diary because we have been up to so much lately. In fact, I mean, I can pull back the curtain. I see it all. But I think a lot of people don't really either remember or realize everything that we've been up to. So I know because you know this software better than anybody. No, I'm not sucking up. It's just the truth. So Damien, why don't you just dive in and tell us what the team is up to?
I'll go through. I think we'll start with features because often we'll build features, we'll release them. They'll go out on social and they'll go out on our newsletters and so forth. But they can easily get sort of buried. Someone's not on social at that time, and easily gets lost in the history with everything else that kind of gets. And that's the same, with emails. Like our open rate is great, but then of course, people get so many emails, it's easy to kind of miss this. So I thought we might just recap just a few of the features. We won't go through everything in the last sort of couple of months, but I thought we'll just touch on a few so that in case people miss it. Yeah, last two, I think we'll do maybe February and March, I think, just to kind of bring us up to speed. And then going forward, we'll just have like the last month or so to cover in our future shows. So jumping in, looking at February this year, so we released a new location filter. So particularly for multi-location practices, it's sort of easy for to view availability and to view it based on what's rostered at each location. And so what a lot of practices were telling us is that they would get, essentially they get people ring up from that might want to see a clinician in a certain location, and they found it sort of hard to, or I guess there was just too much information on the page. They'd want to just see, I want to see the availability for this date range or this day for that one location. And so instead of, I mean, they've always had the colored backgrounds where you can change the roster and location based, and you can communicate which location is with the color of the background in the calendar, but just clearing out noise and showing people one location at a time. It allows people then to just more easily see what's available, book in, navigate to it. And of course, people can still see all locations at once, so you can still get that overview, but now it allows that that kind of more simplified view. It's been really well received. Like we've been working on that for a while, because it's quite a complex area of the system, because we're bringing a lot of information into that view. So we're looking at the appointments that are there, but also the roster and the roster overrides to make sure that we've got everything that's sort of captured there. So there's a lot of kind of logic that's going on behind the scenes to make sure that what we're displaying is exactly what the user is looking for. But it's been amazing. So, you never know when you release features what the response is going to be like. And obviously we release features that are in demand and people are asking for, but you never quite know. But it has been really great to get that out there, and lots of great feedback on that. We've made a few little tweaks since we first released it as well, based on feedback that we got, and now that's really well and truly in the system and working well. Okay, moving on.
Team, good one. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
that was.
one.
It was.
Like that one. And I remember when it came out, it was like we were all like, "Wow, this is so cool!" I mean, just the cleanup, as you were saying, you have like a lot of stuff showing on one screen. So if you can just filter it by your location, I mean, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So good job.
And some of the practices, they've got lots of locations and lots of people at each of those locations. So they might be across, across the whole, country with people, in each of those areas. They want to be able to, because often they'll centralize their booking. They might have phones and bookings, coming through some centralized admin support. So this sort of allows people to really focus on, okay, where are you calling from? Where would you like that appointment? And then be able to just see that, and just makes the whole thing
and the
more
portal
efficient.
too, within the portal.
Yeah, that's the portal. We have we had some logic in there to allow people to kind of drill in that kind of way, because of course in the portal we don't need to be showing people all the existing appointments and things that are in there, just availability. So that side of it we didn't have to sort of change too much, but for the admin teams and for clinicians that need to be able to see everything, that was really the key message that was coming through is, hey, I want to see this time, this location.
Right.
Don't show me all the other stuff. I want to be able to zoom right in on that. So that's what we ended up with.
I'm sure you made a lot of people's day with that feature, and that I know it was really cool. It was cool.
Yeah, it was good fun getting that out there after a lot of planning, a lot of work into that in the back end. Okay, other things we released in February, cancellation reasons. So there are different reasons that people cancel their appointments, and sometimes it's based on the practitioner or the practice needing to cancel. So maybe a practitioner is sick, and we need to kind of we want to record that, but maybe it is the client who has needed to cancel, and it's good to understand the context, particularly when looking at client attendance rates and so forth. Just because an appointment has a cancelled status, it doesn't necessarily tell you enough about what the context of that was. So having cancellation reasons means that people can more accurately capture that, the reason behind it. Also means then that they can understand trends in their practice, so they can actually start to see, well, what are the reasons people cancel? And when you know the reasons, then you've got more opportunity to manage it or to be proactive around it if it's something that indeed can be improved on. So if it's an area that the practice has some sort of control over, or perhaps a message that needs to go out to clients, then, for instance, it might be if there's lots of people, for instance, who are attending because maybe a client is feeling unwell
Right.
for the day, and in the era of COVID, a little bit unwell means you can't go and interact with anyone. But even it may be to say, hey, to promote the telehealth option, to say, look, if you're feeling a bit unwell and so don't want to come in but you're well enough to do your appointment, we can just flick it to telehealth, and that is something then that the practice can communicate to people, because they've got the data to know that, hey, that's actually why a lot of people are cancelling. So we can minimize disruption by communicating this message. So anyway, there's lots of other ways people use it. It's really cool, but I think it's something that's really kind of important, I guess, to allow people to have that data to make good decisions about how they manage things.
I love it.
Next up, we have some client portal enhancements, and this really was some feedback we were getting about, particularly at the moment when there's a lot of demand on some sectors of the health industry around the world. We're finding that in all the major sort of markets that we are operating around the world, we're finding a similar sort of pattern. And in the client portal before, clients could book a long way ahead, right? And we had a feature and we still have, that means you can control how soon someone can book an appointment. So maybe you don't want someone to book an appointment half an hour from now. So you had the option to kind of stop that. But what we didn't have is a way of preventing people booking up appointments well into the future. And for some practices, the feedback we were getting is, hey, look, we've got to really carefully manage our availability going forward because of the pressure on our thing, and we don't want clients to be able to book indefinitely into the future. Perhaps we want them to only book a certain amount of time in front. So we added a control to the client portal where people can go in and set how far ahead the clients are allowed to book, and so it's
I
bringing
did
more
a video
control
on
back.
that one. I did a
You
video
did
on that one.
actually,
I did.
yes.
I did. I was really excited about that feature. So I think that's great, because you want to be able to set some limitations if that's right for your business. Again, everybody's business is different. So somebody might be comfortable with the year out, but somebody else might want 3 months. So having that ability to tailor it for your business is exactly what makes Power Diary so great. And that's the thinking. That's what you guys put in behind when you're building these features, is what do practitioners want? And they want to be able to make those choices for themselves. So that's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, that's spot on. And the different models in which people operate, you're spot on. In some cases, they absolutely do want people to be able to book indefinitely into the future, because it's kind of how they might only ever accept a certain number of clients at a time, and want to make sure that they've got the time in their calendars booked for those clients every week, for instance, for
Right.
indefinitely. So that's absolutely fine. But it's then a lot of practices, of course, don't operate that way,
Right.
or it doesn't suit them at all. And so that's where we were getting the feedback that, hey, look, we need more control over this, because we get people who are booking, and then we have to then go in and cancel their appointments or have these discussions with them, which is not efficient.
Well, the
And not a good.
practitioner wants to take vacation too, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
doesn't know what he's doing 6 months down the road. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, that's not
Yeah.
fair. And then he's got to call and cancel, and then everybody's schedule's messed up. So I
Yeah.
think it was a no-brainer and a great new feature.
Yeah, it's been yeah, that's right. And for those who really wanted it, like they're straight in there. We released it, then bang, people in there with those settings, and we're like, awesome. It's been well received. We kind of get a sense of how much something's been adopted, and we're like, that's good. So that was a really good a good thing. The other one, I think, or a couple of actually things we made in February were invoice notes. So these are record like internal notes on invoices, so that because sometimes there's something a bit unusual about the invoice, or a reason the billing thing's been done a certain way, or maybe the admin team might want to record something about that they've chased that particular invoice, or they're following up, or there's a reason it's not paid, or whatever. There's an endless number of things that can happen that people wanted to record. And what we found is that whether it was a solo practice and people just wanted a log of what they've sort of done, or to communicate across team members, we were getting the sort of feedback, hey, we need to be able to capture that somewhere. And so we we've put this field in there on the edit invoice page. You can add some notes there. It's not visible, of course, to anyone outside of PowerDiary. In other words, if you email the invoice to the client or a third party or insurer, none of those internal notes, of course, are going to show on that. It's just an internal use only, but it enhances
Only for the team members. Only for the
that have access to that invoice sort of function.
Okay.
And it doesn't replace. There is on that invoice page, you can click on a log and you can see the history of what happened with that invoice as well. So that hasn't replaced that. So if someone emails the invoice or makes a change, those things are captured still in logs. So those system where a change was made a user made a change to the invoice in the system, that's all still there. So we haven't taken that away. But this is more just to put in whatever comments people need to record and a way of doing that. So that was great to kind of get that out.
Brilliant.
And the last one we'll cover for February anyway was tasks. So people can assign tasks now, to other team members, so to other users. So this we've had the task sort of function there for a long time. But again, the feedback was that, hey, if let's say a client needs a letter written back to the GP or to the doctor or to the physician, or a report needs to be written or some follow-up needs to happen. Now that task can be created and it can be assigned to the person who needs to do it. And then that makes it a lot easier so that it's not getting lost when there's communication occurring outside of PowerDiary, where the admin team or maybe it's the clinician saying, hey, this needs to be done. But if that's happening verbally or happening, they're emailing each other.
Note, and the post-it note exactly. The trash, or, just a water cooler talk or on a quick phone call, and really the other person's looking at their cell phone going, okay, I'll get right on that. No, now you got a task and it's been assigned to you. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it just makes that, it contains it in the system, makes it easier for people to see what needs to be done, makes things just more organized. That went out in February as well. So that was cool.
That's a big month. That's a big month. That's a lot of stuff.
It was. We've actually got some more in Feb too, but I think we won't go into all the detail. But we do. There's a lot of releases that are often, that is consistently kind of happening. That's kind of why I think this idea of taking some time out to talk about it is cool, because otherwise it just gets it can easily get lost. And we do have it in the emails and stuff, but yeah.
Well, that's why we did the Damien and Danielle download happening once a month, so everybody remembers.
Exactly.
Now let's go to March.
March. Okay. So we've got a few things in March that were not going to be that perhaps visible to a lot of people, but where it was needed, it really made a difference. So we've added things like an appointment date filter added to the client classification report. So this is where people wanted to actually be able to look at the sorts of clients that they were seeing within certain time frames. So often it's either part of reviewing the businesses or the practices, what the composition of their clients was like for a given sort of time frame. But sometimes, depending on the country and the jurisdiction that they're working in, sometimes there's reporting requirements back to funding bodies or to government agencies, either depending on the program that people are utilizing. So sometimes they'll be working under perhaps a certain funding model where there is a grant or something provided to provide services to certain clients and demographics, and this kind of allows that reporting to be generated more easily, to be able to see that, okay, in this sort of time frame, what sort of clients were referred to the practice and were seen. So it's just allowing for changes in the market where some of these things and new initiatives that are going out there, people have different reporting requirements, and so that's made that's been something that has made a difference there. Another thing that some people may or may not have noticed, but even the way that postal codes or zip codes were captured in the system. So it sounds small, but it made a difference to some people where the zip code, depending on the country and the area, can be quite large. There's different ways in which countries will sometimes store zip or postcode information. And in some scenarios, they need more information there. So we were able to kind of, adjust that. And
I think that's great, because I know in the United States, sometimes we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, we could have like almost 10 with the hyphen, I think. So, I mean, that's a lot. And then I ain't gonna lie, I've been sending out some Power Diary swag to some of our worldwide employees, and the postal codes are all different everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Characters, they could have numbers. So I think that's awesome. I mean, obviously people need more characters, so that I'm glad that we were able to get that feature rolled out.
That's right. And there's lots of little things like that happen, some of them at times it's almost daily, that we're pushing things out. But for some people it makes no difference. For others, it makes a big difference, because suddenly they can store that information in a different way. The same sort of thing for the way that the suburb field operated. We had a large allowance for how that field operated, but for some people they needed a lot more kind of space and needed to do that. So we made some changes to that to just accommodate
company, that. Lots of big words, different words. Things can get long. Hey, it happens, so that's good.
Yeah, it is. It's always interesting to see as in different markets what people what they, the way that maybe things are a little bit different to perhaps the normal markets of North America and UK and Australia, South Africa. Sometimes we'll get like a small European country somewhere that is adopting Power Diary, and they've got a completely different way of doing things, and you're like, yep, that's awesome. So we had a bunch of that, and then a lot of our development in March. We've got some other projects that we're not quite ready to announce yet, but that they were kind of working on. Kind of big one coming up. We're going to keep that a little bit very soon. We'll have some announcements on that on a feature that has been in our secret development lab.
Secret development lab. I like
that's
that.
it.
I like that. Well, I mean, look, every single feature that the engineering team is not standing still. These guys, again, like I said, if you pull back the curtain, they are working so hard every day, like just plugging away, making things happen. The communication, they're so great at communicating with each other, and like they see something, they just jump in there and they help each other. I mean, it's just an awesome team, and I know that they are working on some great things that, in the secret lab and in the not so secret lab. I mean, they're a really great team.
Yeah, it's really of course, like most companies, we have a code management system that kind of allows you to see all the changes and all the things that are in development and things that were released, and there would not be like a day almost where things are not being released at least once. There can be multiple releases on some days that a lot of it, of course, is not particularly, maybe people are not going to either notice it or they're just maintenance things or things just to improve the way a particular report might load, or lots of tweaks happening. But there would not be a day that goes by where there is not things being released and updates being pushed out. So it's really cool.
It's awesome. Well, again, like I said, great work the past 2 months. We're going to keep it up. And I know we don't stand still around here. So I look forward to seeing what the future brings us. We don't stand still in our seats, and we're always moving around. I do. I look forward to seeing what other things are happening in the future. And you guys stay tuned, because like I said, this team is always working. So there's some other behind the scenes stuffs that I'm really I think we should share with our diary people, our friends out there, because, it's easy to see the stuff that's, on the screen, right? The features that are being released, all that stuff, that's easy to see. but there is so much happening within the business, within the customer success team, marketing. Hey, we're busy, you know,
Yeah.
HR. I mean, they're all over the place. So why don't we kind of just give everybody a little, you know, again,
Yeah.
let's give them a glimpse behind the curtain of us. And let's talk a little bit about those other teams we've got and how great they are, because they're pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. And we sort of realized too that I think people would ask us like questions about what, just particularly, it might be either new customers or even sometimes customers that might be with us for 10 years, and that we know quite well have been there for a long time, but that we haven't always, I think, been great at kind of communicating all the behind the scenes things that are kind of happening and the developments that are happening. And I think we kind of originally worked on the assumption that no one cares, right? But what we've found by the questions and the things that we have is that people are interested in just what might be going on behind the scenes of Power Diary, and what's the team that's bringing all the different components that bring it together that result in the product that people see. So I thought we'll do a quick kind of whip around some of the different areas, and of course this is going to not be exhaustive, but just when I was thinking about what sort of things are happening recently. So we've got in customer success team. So we've now got this new demos being live demos, and these are like webinars that have been run. They're being run twice a week across 3 times a week. Sorry, 3 times a week. You're right.
We got to hit all the time zones. Again,
Yeah,
we have a lot of time zones. So it's 3 times a week.
Yes. Maybe you'd like to just share the time zones that we're running those in, and where people can perhaps, if they would like to book into those.
Absolutely. So this was a big initiative that that we really wanted to get out there. Marketing, obviously, we touch a lot of little things. So we did help out here, but it's a big initiative because being able to, if you're fresh into Power Diary and it could be intimidating to do a one-on-one. We have multiple people. It's a webinar, so we won't see your faces. You could ask questions in the notes, and they'll walk you through the software. And it's done by Justin, who is the customer coach. He's fantastic. And May, who is in UK, she's a customer success representative. That's a tongue twister. And when I filmed my little intro for that thing, I tongue twisted on that one a lot.
You do a few takes on that.
I did a few takes, but we're not doing more takes here. So yes, but May, they to represent kind of the 3 regions. So it's hard. If you go onto the web page, so we got a web page. If you go under, goodness, where is it, under learn, and you go down to book a call, it's right there at the very top. And based upon your region, so you can see the world and see how it is across the world, which again, it's the same time, but we're all different times. Like right now, it's 10 o'clock at night for me. It's like noon for Damien. He's hungry. He needs a sandwich, so we're all across the world. So we got these times but they do fit wherever you are. So if you do global, you can see all the times, and there's 3 different days. But if you select your country, and right underneath that, you can select your country, you can see the ones that best work for where you're at. So for example, Monday at, I think it's 6 o'clock. Please don't quote me. Please go to the page. Actually, maybe I'll have my guy put that page up here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's link it in and people can jump to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see, but you'll see the times, and then you can select and you just click it, and you can book this week, next week, the week after, because we're running these every week. So pick a day that works for you. We got a new employee on board, send them over, have them walk through the demo. Again, it's not scary. You don't have to see your face. You'll put your makeup on, just hop on and they'll make you feel welcome, and they do a great job. So kudos to them, because they've really been stepping up. I know, we're doing it right now. It's an intimidating thing for them too, but they've really embraced it, and I cannot, say enough good things about it.
And we've got, so while they're presenting too, right, we've got, so it's done live, but we have people from the customer success team on there to answer the questions as well, right? Because we get a lot of questions come through, and so we have team members there to answer those, in real time, so that
Absolutely.
we can get that information. Sometimes people have they don't want to, maybe they don't, like you say, don't want to do a one-on-one, which we can also do, and people can book
We
on
can
that
also do
page.
that.
But it's what we in our third week of that now or something.
Yes, I think third week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
third
it's
week.
our third
Yeah.
week. The weeks
Yeah,
go
yeah.
by fast.
They do. They do. They do. But they've been booked up, right? They seem they're well attended so far. So it's it's been.
Keep sending them over. Get your friends on there. You got a friend that wants to try Power Diary? Get them in a demo. We want them to see what we got because you love it. They're gonna love it too. So, there's my marketing pitch.
I was going to say that's a great pitch. That's great. And then a live Q&A we did too, right? In I think with US.
Second one will be next week. Next week.
The live Q&A. Yes. So last one we did on form. So this is slightly different. This is we go on to Facebook. We say, hey, we're talking about X, and then that's a live kind of interaction. People can post questions, right? And they can. And on a particular topic. So instead of it being a broad walkthrough, this is more, and then we have team members there just to answer the questions about that topic. So we did forms last time, the first one.
Right.
And we have one coming up.
There's one coming up, but it's a surprise.
Okay. We'll announce it on Facebook.
You'll see it when it comes live, and it may, depending on when we air this, it might have already come live, and you probably
that is true.
The questions. But it's great too because you get to see their faces. Like Katie is doing she's doing the first two, but we're gonna get all these other guys involved because I want you guys, to see Damien's team because they are so good. Like I cannot. Again, I'll brag when bragging needs to happen. These guys are guys and gals
and girls,
are phenomenal. I love them.
They really do care about what they really do care about what's happening with the product and for customers' experience with it, and they it really is. It's a privilege to have such a good team, and they love it. So it's great. We haven't had any problems getting volunteers, have we, for some of these things? So that's I'm taking that as a good sign.
And your team in there, and you're still growing that team too, right? Are we?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So in fact, I'll jump into an update around HR because we'll go around this, look at the different departments, but. So HR, we're keeping them really busy with recruitment. So we've been growing across all areas, all departments, and globally now for some time. But they're really working flat out in there. So the customer team, and recently, if we're thinking about expansion, we've had more people into Australian team, more people in UK. More people in US, and that is continuing. So that is just growing. We're getting more and more customers on board, therefore more and more support, and so that's been really exciting to see that team grow. We're also, when we're sticking with HR for a sec, our engineering teams have been growing as well, and so we are. Actively, recruiting for engineering as well. We've got a few different teams in engineering, and it almost seems you can never have enough good engineers. So we are really kind of continuing the push, and the team has been growing there. There's been some really exciting changes in that space. Moving on also to with HR, there's been some really cool initiatives that HR have been doing, right? So these are some internal things if we're thinking about behind the scenes, but we've been thinking we should be practicing, what we preach. We encourage our customers to look after themselves and self-care, and to make sure that they've got a good work-life, balance, and that's part of what Power Diary is about, is helping. Practice owners and clinicians, be able to manage their workload and have good work-life balance. And we're like, we need to make sure we're applying this.
100%. I think you actually attended one of the yoga classes?
I did, yes. One of our, in fact, one of our customer support team members is a very experienced yoga instructor. And
Man, what
he
would I give for that video? Did he did he record that too?
No, we didn't. We didn't record. We all kept so he did. He ran this yoga class, and we've got a few of these for the Power RE teams. We've got a few scheduled for different time zones, and we were all very brave. We left our cameras on
I love
whilst doing this, and it was really great. We had team members brought, like I brought my daughter along,
love
and
it.
other team members did the same thing. It was really cool. So we've got a bunch of that stuff in place, and yeah, HR department's been doing a really good job at making sure that we're thinking about those things actively.
We
as
get
well.
yelled at for our green dots being on in the middle of the night because we're always working, don't we?
Yeah, that's right. On Slack, yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten a green dot alert from Naomi for being on in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
But I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
But she's on
it's
it.
important, though. It's important. Exactly.
It is.
We've got to practice what we preach, and it's good. It's nice to be doing some of those things. HR's got a bunch of other stuff they're doing too, but we might hold that over a little bit for now. Data import team. So I think this team is one that's often behind the scenes, is not seen a lot by our existing customers, right? But what the data import team does is help people migrate to Power RE. So often people are using another system, maybe a legacy system they've got installed locally, or maybe it's a current competitor or something, and they want to move to Power RE, but they're concerned about their data, like how I don't want to lose my data. Is it safe to transfer? How do I do that? It can feel like a kind of overwhelming, like it's going to be some big kind of project, and it's going to be really overwhelming and scary.
Yeah.
So we have a data team. We've had the data team for years. We've always been migrating, but it's on a whole different scale now. So over the past probably 12, 18 months, we've like massively expanded that team. And now what we've been able to do is really build out the data migration systems that we have. So the way that we do it is we look at where people are migrating from. So there's a whole bunch of practice management systems that people have been using that they can be, like I say, legacy, or they can be current kind of competitor systems. And we look at those, and we look at the data structure. So people will send us the data, and we have a secure, compliant way of getting that through to us within the system, so it all stays secure. We can then understand the data structure of those different systems, and we develop internally programs that transform that data into data that will work with Power RE's data structure, right? And so what it means is that we can get either just a backup file or an export of data from their old system, the one they're moving away from, send it to us. Our team can then very efficiently run that through the kind of magic boxes, the transformation programs that we develop, and spit out the full sets of data that can be imported then directly into Power RE's system. And the beauty of that is that it used to take us, for some systems, it takes someone working on data a really long time for each kind of transformation. But as we've built more and more of these, and as we get more and more people migrating from different systems, we're like, okay, that we're getting lots of people from that company, right? Let's build a migration. Once it's done, we can migrate sometimes massive amounts of data in 15 minutes, right? And spit it out and get it in. So
basically, they send it to us, and we do all the dirty work.
Correct. That is it. Yeah, and communicate all the way too, because sometimes people might use the systems in different ways. So they might be using a field that in one way for one practice and a different way for a different practice. So our team will review it, and they will see if there's anything that needs clarification. So it will kind of flag to say, hey, we noticed you're using this field like this. How would you like us to manage that in Power RE? We can do this, or this, and so they kind of in the loop all the way through, and we're kind of keeping that communication going. And then we import it, get them to check it over. We run some testing over it, of course, and away they go. So,
and we charge thousands and thousands of dollars for this service, don't we?
Don't say that. It's free. It's free.
It's free.
It is free.
It's free.
Yeah. Yes. We don't. No. That's right. That's not. Yeah. No. It's free. It's part of our just when we look at what's going to make life easier for people. What are the barriers for them moving systems?
Well, that's the Power Diary way, right? You want it. That's the way. We're looking out for our customers. We want them to have a good transition, to fall in love with Power Diary, and it all starts at step one.
That's right.
Let's get that data in there, and it's free. I love it.
That's right. And we don't just on that idea of that. We don't have any lock-in contracts or anything. We don't. It's not like people, if they migrate their data, we'll do it for free, but you must sign up for a year or something, or any of that. We don't have any of that because our sort of view is that people should move to Power Diary and stay with Power Diary because they love it, right?
Right.
And that keeps us like working hard, right? Because we there is absolutely no lock-in, and people can export their data. They can go if they want it. If they didn't like the system, they can go and just press a button and export their data out of Power Diary too. So they're in and with Power Diary because they love it, and so it's free with no strings attached, or but you've got to commit to a year or whatever. Like we see weird sort of models out there sometimes, but no, it's just straight up. We'll get it in there for you. We'll work with you on it. It's free, and
awesome.
Say because you love Power Diary. So
that's right. That's right. That's the Power Diary way.
Oh, it is the Power Diary way. That is true.
Talk about this new team. We got a new team, right?
Yeah, we do have a new team, right? So we have a product. So now it's like a dedicated product team, and this is really what it does. This team is it's a more efficient way to have a team that's kind of dedicated, that sits kind of in the middle of stakeholders, if you like. So in the middle of a customer team, our engineering, and what it does is marketing. Yeah,
they play. Is that referees? Are they the referee?
I wouldn't say referee. I would say that they're the coordinator, right?
Okay.
That's right. And it refines the whole process, becomes kind of streamlined by looking at, hey, what are customers saying? What is all that, like, we've got a feedback system, which we maybe talk about a different show, but we have a feedback system that really gets any comments people make, we track it, and what the product team does is really kind of analyze that, look at the problems that customers are trying to solve when they provide that feedback, to really get to the thing, and then refine that to understand what features and what things would have the biggest impact for customers. What's going to make the most difference, so that their resources are being allocated and on the things that are going to make an impact and make life easier ultimately for our customers. Now, we've always done that. To be clear, we've always had ways of doing that, right? But what this new team sort of does, it's dedicated and focused just on that, right? So it's a much and implemented more efficient ways of then taking that and speccing that out for the engineering team, having the engineering team involved a lot earlier in that process. Even when we're talking to customers and refining the concept, bringing engineering in at an earlier stage to get their kind of view about what customers are saying and what the engineering implications might be earlier. So that comes into planning. So then by the time it is broken down into all the jobs that need to be done by engineering to release that or to make that change, there's been input all the way kind of along, and we're much clearer on what needs to be done, the timelines that it will take, and so forth. So it's kind of a little hard to explain, but it's making a massive difference.
Oh no, It's not, it's amazing. Again, I pull back the curtain for you guys.
Yeah.
I have witnessed this team and they are on it, like just smart, and just really know how to articulate what needs to be done and really pull the members that are involved. Like, I mean, just A+. I mean, it's a great addition to Power Diary.
Yeah, and I think it also really helps with discipline as well around things too. Like, and so that's the team. If let's say I'm like, hey, what about this? Or I might have something that and then that team's really good at kind of like, hey, well, yeah, Damien, we can do that. Now let's just have a look where that would fit in and how that would kind of work. And is that going to hit is this going to reach the right, have the right impact for our customers and this sort of stuff. So it's really, it's a very powerful and really useful.
Maybe as we continue our show down the road, eventually we might have to bring on a special guest or two, maybe somebody from the product team.
That would be, I think that'd be good, and just maybe show a little bit, about what that process looks like, because there's more to it than, of course, oh, that's a good idea. Let's build it. There's a whole lot of sort of steps in there, and they do
look for that, guys. Look for that coming soon. All right, so we are live, and like I said, you might hear a little background noise every now and then. If you happen to hear that, I just had a visitor come into my office.
Oh, did you? You've got who have you got?
I've got a dog.
That's great.
He decided to come and find me. So
that's all right. Yeah. I can hear that now. You mentioned,
he's going to take his toy and walk out of the room. So there we go. Power Diary. We work remotely. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah, engineering. So let me catch up. Engineering. Again, well, we've touched on some of the things I've been working on recently. There's a whole lot of other behind the scenes development that's been done, which is we're always working on infrastructure and working on things, but there's been some really big projects they're working on, which make a big difference to how things operate behind the scenes, keeps everything running smoothly. It means that we're often thinking with our infrastructure, and we're not thinking about what's our need next month or next next 6 months. We're looking at 2-3 years out around making sure that everything is set up, the foundations are right, and so there's a whole lot of really good stuff being done there. But we also have, in the last few months, we've got a new team in engineering, which is the Boost team. So the Boost team, they work on sort of activities or features or changes that have shorter time frames, right? So things that either are time sensitive or they're smaller things that we just need tweaked or done, or features that are fairly uncomplicated to implement. And the idea behind that is it allows us to be, if you like, more responsive. It gives us more flexibility with our engineering resources. Exactly. So because some of the bigger projects, we'll have them all spelled out. We've got the teams allocated and resources allocated to that. But what we realize is that if we have a team that is not tied into some of those bigger changes, but is there to be able to respond, we don't have to disrupt another project that might be happening, or do that. We can actually get some of those other things done more efficiently. And again, we've always had a capacity to do that, of course, in operating a live environment. We've always had resources allocated to be able to deal with that, but this is in a much it's done more proactively. There's much more resources available for that, and we're growing that team as well, so we're expanding that.
It makes so much sense, because imagine, you guys are practitioners, or, your office staff, and you're working on a project and you're in depth and you're writing those notes, right? And then someone comes in and they says, hey, I need you to go and change that light bulb out in the hall. Yeah, you can do that. But don't you want to finish what you're working on? Because you're really into it. You're in the zone. Like, just to put it into a relation, like how we would see it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not, then that activity can be, instead of I'll stop what I'm doing and go and do it, or I'll have to do that at the end of this. It means that if we've got a team that can kind of jump onto that, or
They're
let's
ready.
say we have,
They're
yeah,
ready to go.
exactly, yeah, and smaller features too that we're like, hey, we can. This will be fairly, reasonable to implement. It might only be, a few days or a week's work or something. So not a hard thing to implement. We can then slot that in, and that team can jump on that and get that out there without it needing to sit behind like a bigger project that might keep a team absorbed for a longer time frame. So it's been really cool. It's early days with that team, but it's already making a big difference, and it's been great to see that development. And of course, we are recruiting for that team as well. We're building it out.
Hey,
So
if
we're
anybody
adding more
knows
to it.
any software engineers, like I think they can email people@powerdiary.com. I'd love personally like to have like a practitioner whose son, and you guys use Power Diary and they got a son who's got software.
Or daughter,
comes to work for us.
or daughter, we should say, Danielle, because we've got, we can talk about that with our HR another time, but we're proud of our female representation.
Oh my gosh,
across
I said guy, son, it could
yes,
be daughter.
son, yes, exactly.
Yes, please.
Yes, exactly.
Please. And yes, and I guess on that note, if anybody watched my Women's Day video, we're like 50% female at Power Diary. So for a tech company, that's awesome. Like just to speak with that, speaking of all these departments, like and if you look at the management team, I think we outnumber the boys.
You certainly do. Yeah.
42. So there you go.
No, it's I think it's extremely important. Like it's more than like a just a nod to political correctness or anything like that. It's actually you've got to get everyone involved and get the different ideas and different perspectives and whatnot. And I mean, it's just I think it's an absolute no-brainer that we need that sort of balance. But we're proud as a tech company. We're proud because sometimes there can be a bit of a tendency to kind of skew, and people get their blinkers on a bit, or have these ideas that it's a male thing. But like you say, our management team, our senior roles. That's right. The females outnumber males by a long shot. So
that's right. Well, awesome.
I was going to say too, just while you're talking about the idea of if people have a son or a daughter who's a developer and got the right sort of experience, but also with our customer team, we are constantly recruiting in the different regions, and we actually on our customer success team now we have a few former Power Diary customers, right? So they're working on the customer team now. So they're either customers or they're working in an admin role for one of our customers somewhere in the world, and then we're like, hey, I know the system. This would be cool. Yeah. And so if you're in that category and think you might like to work in Power Diary, it's all remote. We have entirely 100% remote workforce. So then around. So what was that? People at powerdiary.com.
Powerdiary.com.
Yep, and they can point you in the right direction and take it from there. But no, we've got that.
Damien and Danielle download told me to email you.
That's it.
We told you.
Yeah. Very good. Now I might hand over to you, Danielle. I think you were going to cover off on some developments that are perhaps that over in your area and you're working on.
We'll whip right through this because we are just talkers around here. No, there is so much good stuff happening in marketing. Obviously, we get the benefit of getting to scream Power Diary from everywhere. Like get the word out there. Tell you guys, our audience, our Facebook friends, all of our followers, just how great Power Diary is. And our team has been hard at work. We've been working on the website because there's obviously so many things that we've got that are great that we want to make sure you guys can find quickly. So like our webinars. So every time Damien does one of those informational webinars, we record it. And every time it's like, oh, I got to go to YouTube, got to find it. Well, now we've got a whole webinar page. So on there, you can go there, you can find all the past webinars and all the upcoming webinars, like the security and privacy webinar starring Damien and his brother Paul, who is our CTO and also a co-founder. And they are going to host it together. They're going to talk everything security and privacy, and you can register right from that page. And as we keep adding more on, we'll keep adding more on there. We'll probably do about 3-month sprints where you can see these. We got another one that we're working right now that will be marketing tips. So the top 3 tips for marketing your health practice that me, Damien, and Fiona, who is like, genius, climbs Mount Everest, amazing. She's going to join us. She is like awesome. And we are going to tell you everything about marketing. That will be at the end of May, and you'll be able to register for that one soon. So again, that's just a little snippet. We've got blog articles that we are posting all the time. I mean, they are just great resources, whether it's telling you, giving you some, insider tips for how to like update your templates, or just a great article on women in the industry. I mean, there is just so much good content that this team is constantly producing and working on, because we want to provide you guys, our audience, with the best information you can have, because it's only going to better your practice and better, your care of your patients. And that's important to us, because again, that's Power Diary. That's what we believe in. We want to provide that next step. So we got some great blog articles in there.
And we had our we had a management meeting last night, right, where we have all the and you were telling us about the upcoming security one that we're doing. So we've only just like put this out there, right? And but you were saying the rate of booking into that is it's going really well, right? Like the bookings into that are just off the charts, isn't it? Given it's still, you were saying most people book in the week or 2 before or something, but already it's just
it's doing pretty good, because it's a great topic, and who doesn't want to see you guys on there? And it's very relevant for today. Like there's so much talk around security and privacy, keeping your data safe. 2FA, my gosh, my kid's Fortnite game needed 2FA authentication today. I mean, it's a real thing, and we are at the forefront of it. You guys are really on it, and I think everybody's just really excited to see you and Paul like give them the lowdown.
I think it'd be good to explain, a bit about why some of those security features are important. So I think sometimes, because we do come across these things all the time that people might think, but actually, each of those security features, it serves a particular purpose and helps sort of part of the system of things that keeps the data safe and keeps your account safe. And so I'm really looking forward to having a chat, with Paul on the webinar, and just kind of going into some of that in more detail about why this
26th of April. Register now, guys. Register now. And
so they go on to the webinar page, right, on our website, and
right on the page on the website, Power Talks Webinars. Register for it. It'll take you right to the Zoom, and just fill in your information, and you're all set. And you guys are going to like it. So I'm excited about that. And then we'll get the marketing one up there soon, and hope you guys will enjoy spending some time with me, Fiona, and Damien then as well. So yeah, those are all coming up, and lots of good stuff. Like I said, the blog articles and the content, this little show. Look, I convinced Damien to do a little show with me. Winning. We've got a new email address. So if anybody, we're actually always looking for video testimonials. So if you love us, email us, or we've probably reached out to you, but we'll keep reaching out to you at connect@powerdiary.com, and just shoot us a note if you got anything for us. We're always interested in your feedback. You got a bright idea. I mean, the one thing about marketing is you got to listen to your audience, and you guys are our audience. So I would love to hear from you. So please email us. We've got some great new recognitions we just got, which really I can't put that on marketing. I'll put that on engineering and the rest of the team. I mean, that is you guys. I mean, G2, we were spring high performer and a spring momentum leader on G2. So that's really exciting news. I mean, that just is a testament to the hard work that we're doing, the continued product enhancements that we have. And
so for people who don't know what G2 is, do you want maybe just so people may not have heard of G2 if they're not like in the kind of tech software space, may not be across the significance of G2.
Sure.
So what is it? Simple,
How many people before you signed up for Power Diary went to Google and Googled best software for my practice or best practice management software out there, right? Well, you're going to get a lot of review sites that come up. So there's a lot of them out there. Trustpilot, Software Advice, G2. G2 is on the rise. It's great. It's a comprehensive outlook of all the different, softwares by category that are available and accessible to you guys. And then what they do is, people go on there and make recommendations. They're not like, you got to give this person,
random.
You give them what you give them. And based upon that, and then some other statistical data, how many employees you have, they pull together like this whole gambit of stuff, your Google Analytics, all these different things, and they rank the softwares. And so we have a very good ranking on there. Our reviews are really good. I think we're like 5 stars, 4.9s. I mean, it's like really good. So we're really proud of that. And again, it's just a testament to our customer service team, our engineering team, and everyone behind the scenes, because they're the ones doing the work, and it is. Oh, I'm shaking. We did it again, but it's a great software. So I'm really proud of that. And so we got these new recognitions, and we're a momentum leader. That means we're on the move, guys, and we want to continue to be on the move, and that's just going to keep opening doors for everybody.
Absolutely, and I think the thing with G2 as well is that the way that they do, I think the reviews and the way that they bring information together to compare is quite, I think a really good, it's very transparent. And I think it is now, I don't know if it's now the biggest or if it's the fastest growing, but it's become this world phenomenon really about, in terms of ranking software and allowing people to compare the different offerings. So it's really cool when we look at, like, when their thing is to look at metrics of what software companies are doing well and really that customer sentiment, because hey, we don't have any control over that, do we? We can't like remove a review or say we don't like that. We can respond, but it's what our customers, what people think is on there. So it's really cool when they put a lot of effort into how to analyze and break it down, and they look at data from lots of sources. And to see that, it's really cool when when they capture that, because it's an objective assessment of what people are.
Objective is the word. Absolutely, it's an objective assessment, and then there's and people are going to say what they're going to say, and we've been really lucky so far to have some people say some really amazing things, and hopefully some of them are our listeners, our viewers today, right? All right, and that kind of pulls us in. So we are always, I'll speak to this again, looking for video testimonials.
Well, before moving to Power Diary, I was using a paper diary and sending my own text message reminders to clients, and it was just getting way too hard and too much to do each week. Also using OneNote for my notes, which I don't think was secure enough. So yeah, moving to a practice management system was definitely needed, just so that we could join the digital age.
I am selfish, ladies and gentlemen. Help me. I know you guys, I actually, and it's not just me being selfish, it's good for us. But it's a great way to get your name out there too. Who wants to be featured on the next Power Diary ad? Do you?
Yeah.
Reach out to me. Let's set up a call. Connect@powerdiary.com. I'm on board.
And but in that too, when we're talking about testimonials, aren't we? What we're really, when the ones that I think that are the best are where people just describe the difference it makes to them, right? That's they don't need to exaggerate it, put any flowery, anything. Just, I think we're talking about just, hey, what difference does it make to you? What's different in your world? Has it freed up time? Has it helped you grow your practice? Has it just whatever the real experience is? And so that's it. Don't have to overthink it or whatever. Just
No. Again, we're not scary. You know, it's just like us today. It's being yourself and having, you know, an honest conversation or saying something nice. And, you know, it does, you know, it goes twofold. Then we get to give you a little accolades too, make you look cool. And I think we got a lot of really cool clients out there. So let us know. And yeah, so that's just a little stuff. And we've got a lot of other big stuff coming. But again, can't always let you guys have all the secrets behind the curtain. All right, well, let's keep going. So let's look forward. And I love looking forward. We've got some good stuff here. Is there anything beside, are we even allowed? Is there anything we're allowed to look forward to in the future? I mean, we did some of it.
Yeah, we have something big coming up, but we're not quite able to talk about it yet. We are about a month out from the release of something we've been working behind the scenes on that we think will really kind of help a lot of practices anywhere in the world. So it's something that is quite different that no other practice management systems are offering, and something that we think is going to make a big difference globally for anyone who is operating a practice, big or small. But lips are sealed for now.
That's it.
That's it. Now, outside of that, we have a whole bunch of other, things, in the pipeline that we're working on. We're always getting feedback, so we have a whole bunch of the normal kind of features and things that we are implementing and building, and we'll have out soon, and we'll talk in our next episode about that. But we do also have a big project that we've been busting to talk about. We're nearly there. And then we will be doing a launch of that.
Obviously, we're all clearly excited, but sometimes, we just got to keep that.
Yeah.
Super.
Stay tuned. It's going to make, I think, life easier for people.
I like it. And that's, again, you guys are just, you think about your practitioners, and that's the Power Diary way. And I think that, I like it. I'm going to stop right there so I don't release the cat from the bag.
Yes, no, we'll be in trouble if we do that.
I'm not very good at secrets. This has been a hard one. All right, so are we to our segment now on our Damien's thought of the month, our closing segment?
Yeah, I think this is kind of, I think just often we get sort of feedback from people about, sometimes it's not necessarily about Power Diary, but just how they're doing. And sometimes you get a bit of a vibe for, globally, what is the theme or what sort of things are people, how they're going. And so we thought we'd have a little, just a little bit at the end of each of our shows. We'll just kind of quickly touch on that and some, tips around that. And really the theme that has come out, that's not specifically related to Power Diary, but it's related to well-being, is the idea that for a lot of practitioners and practice managers and clinic owners, that there can be this collection of jobs, tasks, responsibilities that build up over time. And we do sort of automatically. There might be jobs that you do every Monday or whatever, every day or once a month, but things that we tend to collect these things. And it might have made sense at the start when we do it, but often we don't stop and think about whether we still need to be doing it, whether it's still the right thing for us to be doing it. And so the thought for for this particular segment is really, encouraging people to have a spring clean or a purge of the sorts of jobs. Just so instead of doing things, because we've always done them, is just have a think of what sort of things take up your time, how you're spending that day to day, what things might be causing you to feel a bit overloaded, and just have a fresh think about, well, one, does it need to be done at all? Because sometimes we might be collecting data or doing something, but we're actually not, using that anymore, or it's become something that really we don't need that. So have a think about, does it need to be done, so that you can eliminate it, if you can. Can it be done in a better way? So maybe there's a more efficient way to do it, or maybe it can be done by someone else, right? So is this something that I really need to do? Because often people in leadership roles will collect these things, but they're maybe not, it's not perhaps the best use of their time. So if it can be done by someone else, then often it's better to delegate that out and leave you freed up to do things that either deliver more value, so if we're doing low value tasks, or maybe it's to just help have better work-life balance. And so that's the thought for the month, is just
I love the thought of the month. I think this is going to be one of my favorite segments, and you can cover, and what I like about it is maybe it's not necessarily Power Diary, but it's like, how can we improve our lives, or how maybe something funny sometime, whatever you want to do. I like Damien's thought of the month.
I think it's
shameless. I'm shameless.
Well, I think it's just we do get this sort of feedback from customers. We're sort of in a unique position sometimes to get, they'll tell us about, you end up developing a relationship with, even, as we grow, we develop an individual relationship with customers, and they'll talk about sometimes what they're stressed about, or they feel, whatever, completely unrelated to Power, but it'll come into, whether it's a live demo or a chat or an email, and so sometimes we do pick up on these kind of themes and think, there's a lot of this coming through at a particular time or something. So I think if there's things like that we can kind of share, and just as a reminder for us, for everyone, everyone, that, hey, is there something like that we can do that's going to improve things, or that we need to pay attention to? Then let's get it out there, and hopefully it helps
I might have
someone.
to spring clean my house too. That's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. It could be that. It doesn't have to be a work thing. It can be just purging things out of our lives. Frees us up.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, you guys, I really hope everybody enjoyed our very first, and we're going to get really good at this because we're doing this once a month, Damien and Danielle download. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. We're going to go ahead and make some chapters so you can skip around and find the things you really like. But I hope you enjoyed it. Damien, thank you so much for letting me get you in this. I just think it's so much fun to spend the time with you, pick your mind, be across the world, but feel like we're in the same room. I feel like that with everybody around here. So awesome. And don't forget to check out our blogs, learn about the features, see what's going on. If you got any questions, got some great email addresses we provided in here. Support, connect, people, all at Power Diary.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Danielle. It's been great fun, and thanks everyone for watching.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.